Начинаем обзор Теслы. Значит, у нас будет машина серого цвета. Но мне больше нравятся вон те темно-синие. Голландские номера. 19 колеса, по-моему. How do you open the handle? Вот такие вот ручки интересные. Ну что, начнем. Вот так вот выглядит внутри. Вот столько вот места сзади.
The car itself is actually one of the safest cars on the road. When they tested this car in the US, it actually broke.
Одна из самых безопасных машин, говорит.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So that's supposed to be the other way around.
Can you open the boot? И вот тут нету двигателя. Еще один багажник, так сказать. Все сделано довольно качественно, резиночки тут все. Интересно так тут. Вот так вот фары, противотуманочки. Ручка вообще полностью электрическая.
The doors, you can put on the headlights, have the different driving settings. If you want the steering in sport mode, you can get that as well. And if I push the brakes here, you'll actually be able to raise and lower the car with the suspension. And if you go to sunroof, you can actually open and close the sunroof just by sliding your finger here. So we'll open the sunroof all the way up. So you have navigation here as well. So this will be, you can have the full screen if you want, or you can have, for example, the backup camera. You can have this on when you drive as well. You have heated seats.
Can you connect iPhone?
Yeah, you can. So if you go to
Bluetooth.
media, browse, add your phone as a Bluetooth device.
Сейчас Вован поставит сектор газа. Вован капкан.
Serious?
Can I see the list of the... I think it should be somewhere.
You can try and switch there if you want.
Yeah, I think you can try. Normally it works.
Browse option.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah?
From there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Browse option to see all the songs in the phone from there.
Yeah. Now I have the car and drive.
Ну ты можешь список своих песен там видеть? Нет?
Yeah. Are you set to go?
Yeah.
Так, продолжается наш тест-драйв.
Turn this down a little bit. So actually, when we're driving this slow, there's basically no noise at all. But if you come up at higher speeds, you'll hear some tire noise, some wind noise, that kind of thing. So
But you won't hear the engines.
No. You'll hear, if I really accelerate, you hear the motor a little bit. It's almost like a slight whirling noise. Go to controls here.
Moves the car. Yeah.
What's that?
Короче, когда ты драйв включаешь, у тебя автомат едет сам. Сразу же, когда ты тормоз отпускаешь. А если ты здесь выключишь крип этот, то он как бы на драйве будет стоять на месте. Если включишь, то он будет также катиться сам на автомате.
Я понял.
Here, so you have the suspension. It's now in sport setting. We can adjust the regenerative braking as well.
Heard about that they catch on fire in America.
2 of them have done that, but that was kind of the result of a high-speed accident. So actually they punctured the battery from underneath, which is actually protected by a thick armor plate. But you know, any car has some kind of chance of catching fire if you drive it in a kind of careless way, if you hit something.
Yeah.
But this car, I would say, is much safer than any other car in the road with regards to fire, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty quick.
You hear a little bit whirling.
I've got a question. Why there are no handles in here?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, yeah.
Смена водителей. Сейчас поедет Вован. Вован капкан.
So to put it in drive, what you do is you just hold your foot on the brake and then you pull this down.
Oh, you mean, okay.
All the way, yeah.
Alright.
And you see it'll start to creep a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you try to lift the foot off the accelerator now, you'll see that it slows down by itself.
So that's the regenerative power.
Yeah, that's regenerative braking. Which means that if you slow down now, you're going to see on the meter it turns green.
Yeah.
That means that you're adding energy into the battery.
Oh, that's cool. So you're basically not using the actual brakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't, only if you come to a complete stop. So you can take a left here.
Left or right?
Left or right, sorry. So if it's not too bad traffic, I think you'll be able to really get a feel for it on the highway as well. It's different from what you're
like you feel
probably
stuff,
used
but
to.
you don't like hear, and without the noise, it's yeah. I can hear some like swirling a little bit.
It doesn't penalize you, so if you're driving aggressively, you still get energy back when you slow down.
I release the accelerator pedal when it starts to regenerate power.
Yeah.
Are the brakes active? With brake lights on the back? No.
So then we're not. Oh, the brake lights. Yeah. If it's when it's on standard, the brake lights come on. When it's on low, they don't. Because if you have it on low, it's more like a normal car. It will coast, and then you have to brake for yourself.
Yeah, that feels fast, but it feels faster when you accelerate from
zero.
From zero, it feels very.
You actually do have the full amount of torque instantly available at any speed, but the sensation of acceleration, I would say, is more if you're standing still.
Yeah, the effect of this.
Yeah, and I would say the most.
Still, it's very.
Yeah, and the thing that's different here is that it doesn't no steps in between. It's just one gear.
Yeah.
So in a normal car, even a high-performance sports car, you would have those kind of steps in between where you have to gear up.
So now it's standard.
Yeah.
So basically, if we put it on low, it will lower the car.
Yeah. Let's see if it doesn't. We might have disabled low here, but no, it goes back.
Oh yeah, I can feel.
You'll actually be able to adjust and say that maybe you want it to go lower faster. So when you're driving now, I think it goes at the lowest when you're driving at like maybe above 80 or 90 miles per hour. But you can actually adjust that yourself in the future to make sure that it goes lower faster, or that it goes up higher faster as well.
Такие вот лампочки здесь. Хлоп.
Well, the steering is very light.
Клево.
So now it's active air suspension. Yeah.
Air suspension.
So that's like statistics for looks at your latest drive history, and that will kind of adapt to your driver profile, so you can check that over time as well. You'll be able to see that here, for example. You can see we have a lot of high peaks, and that's for fast acceleration. So let's take here, for example. So compared to other test drives today, we've been driving quite aggressively, but that's okay.
That's awesome.
So if you want even more visibility in the back, you just have this on. We can do it right now. So it's just now it's on low. The regenerative braking.
Окей. А как, лучше с нормальными тормозами, Иван, или как?
Непривычно немножко. Так как бы прикольно, но если гоняешь, прикольно, если так, то непривычно.
And also a little bit difficult when they're in the UK, you know, when you're that side and they have the curbs and everything.
No.
So this is the performance version. Then we have a 85.
This is the performance version.
Yeah. So that has both the biggest battery and the most horsepower. But we also have just the biggest battery, which won't give you just quite as much horsepower, but still really good performance. So about 360 brake horsepower. And the cool thing is that even if you go for the performance version, you'll still get the same 300-mile range with normal driving. So it doesn't, it's just the horsepower. We can actually put more power through the inverter. Yeah.
In 1 mile, take the exit left.
It sounds like it's on top.
Yeah. Maybe you can stop by the gas station if you want to switch seats. If you want to drive back, or do you want to?
Yeah, I would like to try a little bit.
Decided to drive. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Alright, so just park again, and you can switch sides.
Держи.
Now it's still in park, so you have to put it in drive first. One more.
Yeah.
now to drive. So when you release it, it will start to roll forward, and then you're good to go.
So it does 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
4.2.
4.2. Is it the performance model?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can feel that the rear end slides a little bit when you
turn right.
Yeah.
And the sound system is quite nice.
Now turn right.
That way, right?
Yep.
Can we slide the roof off?
Take it off the roof?
Yes. Oh, it's all glass.
Yeah, all the way. They're only the cells that are available now, only enough power to kind of run the AC. So I think it's going to take a while before they're efficient enough to actually make it a big difference. It's still too low, so it still costs a bit to add it.
A40 towards central London.
But anyway, 300 miles, like if you drive slow, 300 miles is enough.
Yeah.
It charges within like an hour for 80% or something.
Yeah, if you charge at our stations that we're building, you can see that they will be logged on here. So both the chargers that you've been to before and the ones we're building will be stored here. And when you charge at those stations, you get almost a full charge in about 40 minutes.
Full charge, 40 minutes.
For
from
free.
Zero.
Yeah, for free as well.
For free?
Yeah, for as long as you have the car.
In 400 yards, bear right and follow the A40 towards central London.
Что?
Камера говорила. Yeah, you can feel this swirling noise from the engine.
Yeah, you hear it
in the back.
Yeah, you hear it a little bit more in the back. You can also have a built-in web browser as well, so you can go to any website when you're out. Not to recommend when you're driving, but if you're standing still somewhere, we usually say jokingly that you have a lot of cool features, but not all of them are suitable when you're driving. But they're all useful. I mean, if you're going out somewhere, you can check out a restaurant on the web browser before you go out, or there's a lot of services that list the charging stations around the country, for example, which you can access through the screen.
But you have most of them in the US. You have these battery swapping stations in Europe.
No, just in the US at the moment. We're testing it out in the US to see how many people that use it. And if it's popular, we will plan to introduce it in more places as well. But I think most people will be fine with just charging, because that will be free as well. And we're just going to make that faster and faster as well. So at the moment you get about 200 miles in 30 minutes, but we're actually going to get that down to roughly around 20 minutes in the future.
2 miles.
For 80% it's about 40 minutes.
So if I will purchase I need to buy this charging station, or?
No, so these are the ones that we build ourselves. But
I mean, if I want to put one in my house.
Oh, okay. So you can put fast charging at your house, but not as fast as the superchargers. Okay. So the fastest you can get at home is about a full charge in about 3-4 hours.
3-4 hours.
Yeah. So you know, the curve goes like this, and then it tapers off. So kind of the first couple of minutes are the fastest. Like any battery, you know, the first kind of, and the last kind of percentage takes a little bit longer. Woohoo! Yeah.
Yeah, that feels amazing.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. But of course, I mean, on the outside, it's still not completely quiet. You know, it's quite a big car, so you hear some engine, not some engine noise, but you hear some tire noise.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's pretty much with every car.
Yeah, yeah.
Lock-in differential in the back. Like the limited slip differential.
Yeah, so
like the M3, M5.
Yeah, we're able to actually we're doing it on electronically by shifting the power between the wheels.
Okay, so it basically there are two engines, two motors.
No, just one motor, but we can shift the different amounts of power to each wheel depending on which has the most traction.
Okay.
So if you kind of run over kind of a wet spot with one of the wheels, we can reduce the power from that wheel like 1,000 times per second. Mm-hmm. So in the Model X that's coming out, that's going to be all-wheel drive. We'll do that on each wheel and make sure that you get really good grip. So really good even for a four-wheel drive car. People people ask me, and people come into the store, they ask me, don't you miss the sound? I honestly say I don't miss it, because it's so much more direct here. It's so you feel really in control of the car. Say that you're driving in nature, for example. Open the sunroof, the windows, you'll hear birds sing, you'll hear the wind
Well, you know, with
blowing.
modern cars, with driving at normal speeds, you don't hear it much.
No, that's true. That's true.
They don't make much noise.
No.
Like, not these days.
But for example, our first car, the Roadster, you had that as a convertible as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
And some of our customers, they really just love taking the car out and just, it's almost this peaceful experience as well, but still you have that raw power that's available to you. So the red and the green is based on the traffic. So when you enter a destination, for example, it will tell you the best way based on the congestion in your area.
And is it using Google? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So using your own version of Google Maps, basically. Creep function that I mentioned before, that's also just software. You know, an automatic, it does it by design, mechanically. The fact that it starts to creep. But here we did it just with keep lifts. That was just a software update. So
Sport.
the pillars here in the middle, for example, it's also when you open the doors, the pillars stay in place. So this one is, you can see that when we open them on the outside later, it's just, I can show you. So you see, there's no pillar here, it's just a window.
Yeah. So how much space it needs to accelerate from 0 to 60?
Almost not this whole straight, but
yeah, 747.
yeah.
Very quick.
That's very cool. Can you drift this car, like, you know, the proper way?
Not like it is now, but if we were to disable the traction control, we could do that.
So you can actually do that. It does that pretty easy, right? With that much amount.
Yeah, technically, if you disable the traction control, you can do a burnout, for example, that kind of thing. But we actually, part of what we can do is we can monitor the systems in the car to make sure that the car functions properly. But when we have test drive cars like this, we monitor them to make sure that people aren't kind of abusing the cars too much.
Oh, okay.
So if we disable the traction control, they can actually measure that and see it that we so we're not allowed to do that actually. All right.
Wow, that was awesome.
That's it.
That was
yeah.
awesome.
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Good.
And there it is.
When you lock the car, it will also lock into place, so nobody can just yank it out. So now it's still unlocked, so I can still take it out. Yeah. So you see, this one is one of the fast chargers.
Okay.
You need to keep this one in the car all the time, and then put that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you need to.
So what you do?
Oh, then you have adapters. So you can just have adapters for all the different type of standards. You can get that with the car. So the different ones in Europe. For example, the Type 2 is one of the most common ones, and we can get that with the car, and that will work on most stations in Europe. And then we have something called CHAdeMO as well. It's another standard, and that will also work with this car. We drove about, it said that we have 220 miles with normal driving in the beginning, and now we have 203 miles, and we drove about 18 miles. So we drove a little bit more.
Was it 18?
Yes, 17.9 in total.
So how much energy we consumed?
So we consumed about
In percentage.
17 to 20 miles.
Fair enough. Yeah. Thanks.